I heartily welcome you, sir. Please continue today's presentations on immunity in the children's and Ayurveda. Please continue, sir.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Uh, Good morning,
Good morning,
Dr.
sir.
Sanjay. Okay, am I audible to all? No,
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir. Good morning.
and what
Audible,
about
sir.
slides? Slides are visible to you?
Yes, sir, slides are
Like,
visible.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Uh, Good morning, students. I'm Dr. Rajagopal from All Indian Institute of Ayurveda, New Delhi. Before you, before starting a short deliberation on immunity in children, I would like to thank Dr. Sanjay Kadlimati. Of course, he is a PhD scholar was a PhD scholar of Jamnagar when I was a faculty there, and I hope you are enjoying his leadership very much. Dr. Sanjay Kadlimati, thank to you for giving me a chance to address you all. I had been to your institute long back when I just completed my MD, that is 1995. At that time, it was Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Bijapur. And I have seen you one of the buildings. I think now, of course, the things have been changed. To give a brief introduction about my institute where I am working as of now, this is the photograph of one side of the institute, and these are the other area for aerial photographs. This was established in, although of course we started functioning in 2016 onwards, it was dedicated to the nation, and of course we got a very wide publicity through our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Dear students, you should always oblige to Narendra Modi ji because he is the man behind Ministry of Ayush. He is the man behind making Yoga International. He is the man who is making now the Ayurveda. It is National Ayurveda Day, I have written here, but it is not national now, it is going to become international. So you must be very much obliged to him. Okay. Going ahead with this is a small introduction about Ayurveda. I don't need to say anything on this. You know very well what is Ayurveda, Ayu and Veda and all of the things. And this chart just depicts the Ashtanga Ayurveda. The one important point here is if you refer the history of medical science world over, it is Ayurveda where clinical specialties were identified right from the very beginning. If you refer textbooks like Charaka Samhita, Sushruta, and Vagbhata, Charaka has mentioned the various. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
audible, sir.
He mentioned the different specialities, but he didn't name them specifically, except at the fag end of the Sutrasthana. When we go to the next book, that is Sushruta Samhita, he has defined each of these specialities with a specific definition, and of course that continued further. And as the time passed, specialty books also came into light. So if you go to the specialty books of Ayurveda, it is Kaumara Bhritya comprises of two important specialities, mother and child. Both things are included here. And the book of this specialty is Kashyapa Samhita. You know very well about this. And do you know that this Kashyapa Samhita is translated to various languages and even to Kannada also? I think it is a contribution from your side, that is Bijapur and Hubli side. It is translated to Kannada also. Okay, let it be. Today's my topic is immunity in children, and I'm supposed to talk on immunity in children and Ayurveda, how Ayurveda can contribute. See, students, the topic of immunity is a very recent specialty in the modern medical science. It is 20th century, that is end of 20th century, it got importance, and if you see the history of immunity and studies on immunology in India, it was All Indian Institute of Medical Sciences, Delhi, which was established in 1956 and later. Their pharmacology department, they started a lab on immunity, and that lab further developed and it was separated. It was made into National Institute of Immunology. That is again in Jawaharlal Nehru University campus of Delhi. From there, of course, ICMR and other research bodies, research agencies, they have developed their own laboratories. Now we are at the level of genomic laboratories also in India. But in Ayurveda, when you talk of immunity, it is not specifically mentioned. In Charaka Samhita, we get one word. in Charaka Sutra, when he is describing about ahara, vidhi and other things, he explains the word as vyadhi kshamatva. The line goes like this: Sarve shariraha vyadhikshamatve samarthani na bhavanti tadyatha. Further he explains about the ahara, what is the importance of shatrasopet ahara, what are the importance of each rasa and all other things, and nityopayogi dravya and other things he explains. Here the word comes vyadhikshamatva. It is a period of Charaka. After Charaka, of course, we had to wait till Chakrapani, that is 11th century, to have a proper description or definition of this word vyadhikshamatva. Chakrapani says, Vyadhikshamatvam nama vyadhi bala virodhitvam vyadhi utpadaka pratibandhakatvam. There are two components he identified in it, vyadhi bala virodhitva and vyadhi utpadaka pratibandhakatva. But it doesn't mean that without taking the word Vyadhikshamatva, the other acharyas have not touched the subject. Yes, they have touched it. We come across with different terminologies to explain the Vyadhikshamatva or disease progression preventing capacity of the body. Or you can call it as Roga Pratirodha Shakti. Somebody has used a Shuddha Shleshma, somebody has used the word Kapha or Shleshma, Bala, different words they have used. We will see later in the word, presentation. Coming to the word of health, what is health? The definition of health is known to you all. WHO has defined it very beautifully. And Ayurveda says Samadosha, Samagnischa, Samadhatu, Malapriyaha, Prasanna, Atma, Indriya Manaha, Swastha Ityabhijyate. The component of mental health, this is, and spiritual health. See, mental health cannot be achieved without a good spiritual approach. This is known. It may be any spiritual power or any faith, but it is not possible to attain a good mental health without a spiritual health, or what we call as spiritual maturity. In your place, in your areas, you must have come across with avadhutas. These avadhutas are appearing like mentally disturbed persons, but it is not so. They are spiritually matured, highly matured persons, where their spiritual health is very good. Their mental health may appear, but it is not, because we are not able to understand them. Okay, the concept of health is very clear. Now, the present day environment, that is the COVID-19 infection and spread of this COVID-19 and all these things, this again bring back the Ayurveda concepts, the importance of Ayurveda concepts to light. Coming to the preventive health in Ayurveda, yes, we have a lot of preventive health. The word preventive health, the Roga Pratirodhaka, these things are not seen. But there are many things mentioned like Ahara Niyama, Nidra, Brahmacharya, Upastambhas, Vyayama, Sadvrata. Sadvrata is a very important component in maintaining spiritual health or mental health. And of course, there are a lot of rasayanas mentioned. These are all for maintaining good health. That means maintaining good homeostasis of the body. Homeostasis of the body refers to good physiological functioning of all organs, or organized, well-moderated physiological functions, along with a good immune system. Immune system is very essential. That can be achieved with these things, with the proper practice of preventive health. The rasayanas in pediatric practice, of course, whenever we talk about rasayanas in pediatric practice, the first word comes is Medhya Rasayana. Medhya Rasayana, why Medhya Rasayana comes, it's a different topic. Of course, it may require a separate lecture for that. The rasayanas for health promotion, we have got good number of rasayanas in different dosage forms. There are two major things. One is with herbo minerals or metals and minerals in it, and another is pure herbal things. Tonics with gold is very popular. General tonics are there in the form of avalehas and gritas. Grita, simple grita, kshira, madhu, they themselves are rasayanas. We have got a very popular practice of Swarna Prashana. This is again a pediatric rasayana itself. And in addition to that, Ahara Vihara Sadvrata plays a vital role along with the Raksha Karma. We are forgetting this Raksha Karma component, like Abhyanga, Snana, Dhupana, Vastra, Paridhana, all other things. These are all very important in maintaining the Vyadhikshamatva status of the body, or in other words, the immune status of the body. Going ahead with the concept of immunity, we will have I'm not talking of immunity from the modern perspective, because modern perspective immunity is it itself is a big topic, and you have been, or you will be taught with by your teachers. You must have studied in Sharira Kriya, and then comes Roga Nidana, and again in Kaya Chikitsa. The different terms like Vyadhikshamatva, Bala, Bala in terms of Sahaja Kalaja Yuktikrita Bala, the concept of Ojas, Vyadhi Vighata Karabhavas, Ahara Sampat, Sharira Sampat, Rasayana, these are all different terms which helps us in understanding the immunity or immunity concepts of Ayurveda. Coming to modern concepts, of course, you know very well active and passive immunity, the two categories, constitutional or innate, cell-mediated, humoral, specific, non-specific. These are different terminologies, different classification of immune system, what we see in the modern book. Of course, you go further, then we have got first line defense, second line defense, third line defense. Phagocytosis will be the first line, then comes the cell components, and then go the immunoglobulins, and in the immunoglobulins again we have got different complements, and it is a big subject. I'm not going into the details of it. I will be highlighting certain aspects of immunity or Vyadhikshamatva Vardhana, or improving, boosting immunity in Ayurvedic perspective with certain evidences. A major component will be here research-based studies on Swarna Prashana. Okay. Coming to the concept of Ojas, yes, if you take a broad umbrella, we can take immunity as a good Ojas, a Sharira with very good Ojas status, it has got good immunity. If the Sharira Bala, it is again depicting Ojas only. Etymologically, it is from Ubja, Dhatu, all these theoretical details. Literal meaning of the word Oja is body strength, vigor, energy, ability, vitality, power, etc. The synonymous words are Bala, Avastambha, Deepti, Prakasha, Teja, Saha, Dhatu, Tejas, Shleshma, Shukrasaraha, Shukramala, Shukropadhatu. These are the different terms used at different contexts by different acharyas. You can see Shukropadhatu term used by Acharya Sharangadhara. Sharangadhara's time period is 11th, 12th century AD. Whereas Prakasha and other words are Tejas, these words are used by earlier authors and commentators. Sushruta and Vagbhata, they have called Ojas as the Sarva Dhatu Sara. Acharya Dalhana, and it is the commentators like Dalhana and Chakrapani who have explained it further. Whereas the original authors, they have given only Sutra Rupa in terms of one or two words. Charaka has also touched this. Ojo Utpatti, if you see, Ojo Utpatti is taking place as an essence of all the Dhatus. Hemadri, he says that Shukra and Shonita, when they join together, Paka of both Shukra Shonita take place in two things are formed. One is Sara and Mala. Sara Bhaga is the Garbha and Mala Bhaga is the Ojas. This is the approach of Hemadri only. On Ashtanga Hridaya he says. Oja Poshana or nutrition or reinforcement of Ojas is taking place with the good diet. Ahara. This may be the reason why in Vyadhikshamatva context itself Charaka has mentioned, or in the context of Ahara, Ahara Vidya and other things, Charaka has included Vyadhikshamatva. Even today, if you see, the first thing what we want to have a good immune system is a very good healthy diet. Am I right? Quantity of the Ojas, there is again, they have given some quantitative parameters, para and apara Ojas, Ashtabindu Pramana and Ardhanjali Pramana. These are all theoretical things. I'm not going to the details of it. And Oja with reference to Bala and Vyadhikshamatva, as I said earlier, Bala, we have got three types, Sahaja, Kalaja and Yuktikrita. Sahaja Bala is innate strength of an individual that again is influenced by Mata, Pita, parents, their status, the society structure, their diet, the care of the pregnant woman, which she receives during the period of pregnancy, or many factors are there. Multifactorial things. Sahajabala is also. Kala Jabala, you know very well, it depends upon the Kala. In Adana Visarga Kala also it may change, and according to Rutus it may change, even in the day also it may change. Yuktikrita Bala is those things which we induce with the help of Rasayanas. In the children, of course, we have got a very good, program taking place. That is the immunization program with which you can increase the Bala of an individual for a very specific disease. Ayurveda do not speak about vaccination to a particular disease. Ayurvedic texts, if you refer, you get all references are for generalized bodies, improve immunity, not to a very specific disease. Here I would like to bring your attention to one of the important thing. which of course vanished with history. If you have heard of Professor B.M. Hegdeji, in his lectures, he always used to quote this, Hallwell studies and Tika. He says the vaccination concept is Indian, and he say with support of evidences. In 17th century, when the British came to India, they first came to Surat in Bombay, then they shifted their headquarters to Calcutta. In Calcutta, what one of their physician, doctor, whom the East India Company brought from England, what he observed was whenever there is, say, like the month of winter, beginning of winter, November, December months, he used to see some monks, sannyasis, they used to roam from village to village and they used to carry a mud pot in their hand. And this mud pot contained something, don't know what it is. They used to they used to prick the skin of people who are not affected with smallpox, and they used to apply something from this mud pot to that place. Uh, on inquiry, he found that it is the serum, or if it is the pus or blood collected from a person who is affected with the smallpox in the previous year. They used to put it in the pot, and they used to add certain herbal things to it, and they used to keep it for maturing. Later, of course, he went into the details of it. A very big team from England came to India, and they studied this for more than 20 years, and they found that it is a way of preventing smallpox, and that was named as Tika. Much before Edward Jenner, it was there. It is a way of improving, or it is a way of Yukti Krata Bhala practice. This is what is doing. We are doing now also. We are creating, administering the antigenic material to the body, and we are creating the disease status within the body in a subclinical level, and we develop antibodies for that particular disease. Again, it is specific to the disease. This is the only reference what I am getting specific to the disease, but not in the classical text, but in the practice later. Okay. Uh, Three types of bala, which I was talking about earlier. It can also be called as Vyadhi Kshamatva. Vyadhi Kshamatva, as I said, it has got two components: Vyadhi Utpadaka Pratibandhakatva, which antagonizes the strength of the disease causing agent and prevents the occurrence of disease in the body. And the second one is Vyadhi Bala Virodhitva. That means minimizes the virulency or the strength of the disease. Disease will be there, but it will not go to the maximum extent. It will be curtailed, or it will be checked in the beginning itself. This is again Bala, or it is also status of, explains the status of Ojas in the body. There are three Vikritis, Ojo Vikritis. This is mentioned by Sushruta: Ojo Sramsa, Ojo Vyapat, and third one is Oja Kshaya. So Lakshanas are given. You please refer the Sushruta Samhita for that, or any other Roganidhana book, you will get this. Coming to the treatment of this Oja Kshaya, Ojo Visramsa, Ojo Vikritis, the first line of treatment is Rasayana. Here it is, we have written as Rasayana, but as a precursor to the Rasayana, what we need is Shodhana. You have to do a Panchakarma Shodhana, possible Shodhana, I am telling you, because a person who compromised in the Ojas, you cannot apply all the Panchakarma procedures. You may have to apply one of the Shodhana procedures. You have to confirm that there is no Ama condition, then you can go for the Rasayanas. Sadhurata, Jivaniya drugs, Shira, Mamsara, Adi. There are plenty of things available. This is in general. Similarly, the same thing can be applied to children also. As we know that Dharmarthaka Mokshanam Arogyam Moolam Uttamam Rogastatavahartara Shreyaso Jividasya. Ultimately, Arogya, health, a good health status is very important for everything, for which Rasayanas are indicated. I am not going to the details of Rasayanas, just the slides are there. That is just to highlight the importance. Labhopayo Hishasthanam Rasadinam Rasayanam. This is the definition of Rasayana, what we get from the books. We have got different types of Rasayanas. Vayasthapana Rasayanas are there, Aishka Rasayanas are there, Methi Rasayanas are there, Balya Rasayanas are there. Further, if you go, you will get a lot of Rasayanas, organ specific, age specific, disease condition specific Rasayanas are also there. Maybe it is left to the wisdom, or it is left to the knowledge and utility of the physician to use where, what, when, how. All these things are left to the physician. The factors include what we have to consider when selecting Rasayanas are age, Vaya, you have to see, constitution, you have to see. If you are able to assess the Prakriti of an individual, then it will be very good, because there are certain Rasayanas which are very specific to Vata Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti, Kapha Prakriti. Adaptability of an individual, See, in case of children, again, constitution may not be possible. We have got generalized rasayanas, but age and adaptability, digestive capacity, status of body tissues, status of swasthya, these things, strength, mental status, dosha, desha, dhatu, dushyam, desham, balam, kalam, analam, prakritim, maya. These are the things mentioned. All these things we have to consider before selecting any rasayanas. Now, further, this of course, this is from the classical Samhitas. Coming to Sharangadhara Samhita, he has given a step ahead. He said every decade of life we lose one particular potency of the body. It doesn't lose particular potency. This particular period, this particular aspect will be more prominent. Like the first decade Balya, the second decade Vriddhi, hello, 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 Dr. Sanjay.
Yes, sir.
It's audible now? Okay, okay. Because there was a call in between, and when the call comes, generally network gets lost. Okay, thank you. The decadal rasayanas, every 10 years, something we are losing. So, in order to maintain those things or strengthen those things, we have to use certain specific drugs. This is what Sharangadhara says, and need not follow everything specifically in the same order. However, the first decade of life, childhood period, Vacha will be the best one. The growth phase, Ashwagandha Bala can be used. Color and complexion, you can use Amalaki, Loha and other things. Shankha Pushpi, Bringaraja, Trifala, Atmagupta. And it is said that after 70th year onwards, drugs may not be so effective. That means if you are following the Rasayana concepts, then you have to use specific Rasayanas. And all these categories, say under first birth to death period, the only one thing which is indicated in every category is Swarna, gold. Gold can be used as Rasayana. That is why Swarna Prashana is mentioned right from the birth phase. When of course, when age advances, then of course Swarna Mishrita, other things come into play. Like we have got Vasanta Rasa Kalpas and other things. So Makaradvaja, Vasanta Kusumakara, and those things. Those Rasayanas can be used. These rasayanas, how do they act? If I want to explain the rasayanas in terms of modern aspect or pharmacological activity wise, with one thing I cannot explain it. It is some rasayanas are antioxidants, some are adaptogenics, some are immunomodulators. They directly act upon the immunoglobulins and other things. Some are nootropics or medhyas in nature, some are anabolic tonics, some are anti-stress, some are intelligent memory promoters. Some of the rasayanas are having all these properties, some are having some selected properties with which they act in the body and bestow the body with rasayana guna. The common rasayanas, as you know well, amalaki. Whenever I saw rasayana said, the first thing comes to mind is amalaki, or next comes ashwagandha, guruchi. These are the three things. In addition to that, we have got brahmi, we have got kapikachu, madhuyashti, punarnava, shankhapushpi, shatavari, shilajatu, and all many are there. Of course, some of them we are going to see later. And one of the important thing is swarna, gold. The best among the rasayanas, if you see in the plant origin, every text says amalaki is the best. In animal, Kshira Ghrita Abhyasa, Nitya Kshira Ghrita Abhyasa. This is said to be the best one. And in metal and mineral origin, Swarna is standing number one. Okay, these three sources, plant origin, animal origin, and metal and mineral origin, all these things we can do, we can practice in children also. Coming to Medhya Rasayanas, particularly to the Medhya, nootropic activities, Charaka says one shloka wherein 4 Rasayanas he included. Manduka Parnya Swarasa Prayojya, Kshirena Yashti, Madhukasya Churnam, Raso Guduchya, Samula Pushpya, Kalka Prayojya, Kalusanka Pushpya, Manduka Parni, Yashti Madhu, Guduchi, and Shanka Pushpi. These are the 4 drugs he has mentioned. He has not mentioned Vacha here or other drugs. These are said to be very specific, but again, what you have to see here is Manduka Parnya Swarasa Prayojya. Manduka Parnya should be used in the form of Swarasa metal. Freshly you have used. That is best. ST Madhu Kasya Churnam Kshirena. ST Madhu, if you want to have Rasayana property, you have to use with the Kshira. You have to either make Kshira Paka and use it. Raso Guduchyastu Samula Pushpya. If Guruchi is used, you have to use the Guruchi completely. Panchanga is to be used, and Kalka Prayojya to Shankha Pushpya. Shankha Pushpi Kalka is to be used. Here part he has not mentioned. When he has not mentioned the part, it should be Panchanga. This should be used. Then it will have potent Rasayana. Otherwise, of course, you are using Mandakoparni Churna. Of course, it will have some effect, but may not be of that of Swarasa. These are some of the common important major rasayanas: Shankha Pushpi Brahmi, Mandakoparni, Yashti Madhu, Guruchi, Vacha, Ashwagandha, Jyotishmati, and of course gold I have added. See, here you can see out of this 8 plant origin major rasayanas, can you categorize this into different categories? When you are talking of Ahara and Aushadha, we remember Ahara is always Rasa Pradhana. We are more concerned with the taste of it, whereas Aushadha is of Virya Pradhana. Here 2 categories are there. Some of them are Ushna Virya and some of them are Shita Virya. Or in other simple words, some of them are Uttejaka. Ushna Virya will stimulate and Shita Virya will subside or Shamaka in nature. Drugs like Shankha Pushpi Brahmi, which are Shita Virya. Drugs like Jyotishmati Vacha, which are Ushna Virya. Where this to be used, that you have to decide. When you require a major rasayana, when a child is dull, then you have to stimulate him. When child is overactive, the present day ADHD or ASD, that is autism spectrum disorders, in this type of conditions, where there is elevated mood, then you have to use Shamaka. Where there is depressed mood, you have to use Uttejaka. This decision you have to take. So there are plenty of drugs like this. Even in the common drug selection also, we have to keep this in mind. And if you go little deeper in the concepts, then you have to think in terms of doshas. Here in this context again, we are talking about rasayana, we are talking about rasayana in children, major rasayanas. And of course, we have touched a little bit of Swarna Prashana or Swarna, role of gold also. There is one controversial topic always when we talk Madhu Grita Viruddha. It should not be mixed in equal proportion. But when Madhu Grita or Swarna Prashana is to be done in newborn babies, many of our teachers, they say that it should be taken in equal proportion. Why equal proportion? There is a description even in commentary of Ashtanga Hridaya, Viruddha Abhisamskriti. This is mentioned by the commentator, where he says that if you are mixing a Madhu Grita, it becomes poison. Okay, it is Visha Viruddha, we know very well. But if you are administering this Visha Viruddha combination in a small dose, it will act as a stimulation or stimulant to the immune system. Right at the time of birth or very young age, if you are giving 1 or 2 doses of this type of things, it will stimulate the non-specific immune system, non-specific immunity of the body, and probably it enhances the general immunity. So that is why they have told that it can be taken in equal proportion. But this should not be practiced for a long run. Daily giving in equal proportion is not advised. Though we don't have any evidence for this, I remember one study conducted at Trivandrum as a part of PG studies, where we know about the dadhi, curd should not be taken long time. There the study was conducted, and what they found is, in the experimental study, of course not in the clinical study, administration of curd for a longer time, it hampered or it what you call changed the biochemical values in the body. It was slightly going towards negative side. So that if you are giving for a longer time, this also may happen the same. We don't have any evidence for that. Anyhow, if you're starting Swarna Prashana in the newborn, first dose given equal proportion, and second dose onwards, you go for unequal proportions with other Medhya and Vyadhikshamatva Vardhana drugs. Coming to tonics or Vyadhikshamatva immuno-boosting drugs for children, one very important thing is Swarna Prashana. In the next few slides, I'll go very quickly because of the time factor. In the next few slides, we will see studies and evidence-based publications on Swarna Prashana and whether it is justified or not. Coming to Medha Smriti Vardhaka Yoga, this slide depicts some of the commonly used Medha Smriti Vardhaka yogas. Starting with Saraswata Yoga, that can be in the form of Churna, Grita. It can be in the form of Arishta also. We have got Tailas for external as well as internal use. We got varieties of avalehas, Guruchadi avaleha onwards to Kushmanda avaleha Adi, including Swarna Prashana. Coming to Swarna Prashana, of course, starting with Kashyapa Samhita, the shloka is here. Sushruta is also mentioned. Of course, he has mentioned the Swarna along with other drugs like Savarnam, Sukradam, Churnam, Kushtam, Madhu, Gratam, Vacha, Matsyaka, Shankapushpi, Madhusarapis, Saganchanam, Arkapushpi. Some specific things also you can see here. Ashtanga Hridaya, again he repeats the same thing. Ashtanga Sangraha also repeats the same thing. Ratsaratna Sumuchaya also saying the same thing. And Kalyana Karaka is also telling the same thing. The students, you are from Vijayapura or Bijapur, or the earlier one, and you are from Karnataka, and I hope majority of you are belonging to Karnataka only. You know that this Kalyana Karaka, the author, from where he has come and where his original place? It's because this is not interactive, no? So I'll continue this. He is from Karnataka. Ugradityacharya, he is from Banavasi. Banavasi is somewhere near Sagara Taluka of Karnataka, near to Jog Falls. Okay, so Karnataka has got a great contribution to Ayurveda as well as contribution to Kaumaravritya also, pediatric subject also. One of the Maharaja, king of Coorg district, he has written a book called as Vaidya Kanda, which of course it deals a lot of things pertaining to children. Okay, this is a passing reference. Tonics with gold and tonics without gold, you can make two categories in childhood period. And tonics with gold, of course, I have mentioned some of the things. It can be given gold with Madhugrita, or you can give gold Madhugrita with other drugs too. In Jamnagar, when I was there as a faculty, we have conducted some studies on Madhugrita and Madhugrita Vacha Swarna. These yogas, clinical as well as experimental studies we have conducted. Lot of studies we have lot of age group, different age groups we have taken, and we have right from newborn baby to of 1 year age. We have conducted studies. Experimental studies are also conducted. Now, of course, in the Hassan SDM, they are conducting some studies on this Swarna Prashana. Some institutes are conducting studies like Banaras also, they have this Swarna Prashana. So what our observation is, if a child is administered with the Swarna Prashana regularly, the hospital visit comes to the lowest level. Seasonal infections, seasonal diseases like cough, cold, fever, all these things come to a minimum. The child's growth and development will be appropriate to the child, to his age. And you can see a definite difference between a child administered with Swarna Prashana and others. These are all different yogas for Swarna with gold. Different authors, what I have told Shloka earlier, those things are mentioned here. And this slide is giving, here there is no Swarna. Of course, these are all Medhya and Rasayana Grita preparations like Kalyanaka Grita. I'm using very commonly. Panchagavya Grita, this is again a good formulation. Brahmi Grita you have. Ashtamangala Grita. Ashtamangala Grita, of course, is said to be very good for children, and it prevents this Bhuta, Rakshasa, Pishacha, and all other things, evil spirits also. Saraswata Grita, Saraswata is actually going in favor of speech and language and intellect. Saraswata Grita, this is also good. Abhayagrata, in this Abhayagrata, of course, we have conducted, very recently conducted a study on autism spectrum disorder, and we have found very encouraging results. Samvardhana Grata, of course, mentioned in the Kashyapa Samhita, and that is also a very good immunomodulatory as well as better nutrition formulation. These are other Grita combinations. I'm not going to the details of it. This is general tonics for breastfed baby and top-fed baby and normal diet. Of course, general diet things are there. Mentioned in the classics only. Some of things are possible. Now, of course, if you see students, if you are having the habit of reading the formulation, particularly the patented formulation or syrups and tonics coming in the market, you just read the label, the contents. You can see all these contents in it. General tonics. They may write in a different synonymous words they may write, but you will see this. Balachaturabhadra Churna is one of such common preparation which contains only 4 drugs: Ativisha, Karkata Shringi, Musta, and Pipali. In equal proportion you have to take. Ativisha is a very costly affair nowadays, and Karkata Shringi is availability is a question. Musta, Pipali are easily available. This Balachaturabhadra Churna, of course, again on this we have conducted good number of studies. one of the studies, experimental study where toxicity studies we conducted up to the level of bone marrow toxicity, and we found that human dose, that is we have to calculate as per the animal body weight, and 10 times more than the normal dose for an experimental animal, it was found to be non-toxic. There was no toxicity at all. It is purely herbal preparation. There was no toxicity. And later, of course, in very recent year, we conducted studies on immunomodulatory activity of this Balchaturpatra churna, wherein we found that humoral and cellular immunity, all both things, humoral Balchaturpatra churna had shown a very good promise. Audible now? Anyone, please?
Yes, sir, audible.
Thank you. Because whenever call comes in between, I cannot because official calls are coming and the network gets off. So whenever the settings are there, please tell me. So one of you keep your mic open. You should not disturb us, and then you can respond me. Okay. There are many such recipes are available, and see, the beauty of Ayurveda is whenever you see these type of recipes, you can see invariably you can see certain specific drugs in it and certain common drugs like Trikatu. Trikatu, again in the Trikatu, Shunthi, Maricha, Pipali, one of these or all together you can see these drugs are added for the purpose of proper assimilation. They themselves are rasayanas. Out of the Trikatu, Shunthi, Maricha, Pipali, I think except Maricha, Shunthi and Pipali are considered or explained as rasayana. Pipali, of course, it is well known. Shunthi is Mahavidyalaya, and Maricha, of course, is not rasayana as such, but it is Deepana, it is Pachana, it improves the Agni, and it has got many beneficial effects. So combination is made in such a way that it contains certain specific drugs, and along with that certain drugs to improve the digestion of the drug, assimilation of the drug, to reach the drug active component into the target site. You can see this. This is the beauty of Ayurveda. Okay, this is a composite table. Of course, I'm showing about the Swarna Prashana. I'm not going to the details of it. Different all acharyas, they have up to Bhava Prakasha or even later. Of course, you can see use of course, Yoga Ratnakara, the last one. You can see the use of Swarna as Rasayana in Kumara, in children. This is one of the photographs where we were conducting studies on Swarna Prashana, how the Swarna Prashana was prepared. You have to take a beautiful, very good Akika Khalwa, Agatha stone. The reason is Swarna is precious, and if you are rubbing it with the normal Khalwa and all, wastage will be too high. This is a Khalwa with, of course, mortar and pestle of the same material with a very smooth surface, and it doesn't cause scratches. So because of that, the loss is minimal. The different stages and bottling was done. Akika Khalwa was used to the different stages of mixing, and you have to rub it, homogeneous mixture if you want to make, you have to rub it for hours together. And if you are storing in bottles, after some time, if you are keeping in one position, sedimentation will be there. So whenever you are administering, you have to mix it well. This is another thing. Some of you might have seen this. Dr. Raju from Bangalore shared me. This is Swarna Vacha or Hema Vacha, where Vacha rhizome is taken, tuber is taken, and the gold rod is inserted into it. 99.99 Shuddha Aparanji Sona. It is inserted, and this is to be given by rubbing over a rubbing stone. Here the question is hygiene, cleanliness. This is very important. If parents or mother is not cautious, fungal infiltration, fungal growths can take place. Cleanliness is important. This here, of course, this is Brahmi Grita, or no, not Brahmi Grita, Ashtamangala Grita preparation was done, and along with that, they have added Swarna Bhasma and made a mixture. This is administered. So there are different methodologies adopted by different acharyas as well as practitioners as per their conveniency of administration. If nothing is available, you can just administer with the Madhu and Grita. Take Madhu Grita in unequal proportion, take Swarna, either rub it, or if you are getting Swarna Varka means thin foils of gold, take a bit of Swarna. The dose will be around, say, according to the age. For a newborn, you can give 0.02 milligrams. That will be very difficult to calculate, but this is the dose what we are getting. For adult, you can give 1/30th of a rati. That comes around 8 milligrams or so per dose. Now going to some evidence-based studies, a quick run through different publications on Swarna-based studies. There are several precious metals in human body, including gold, iron, silver, platinum, palladium, many are there. And a person of around 70 kg body weight, he has got 0.2 milligrams of gold. This is published reference. This is equivalent to 0.000000. How many zeros are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 803% of total human body weight. That means the calculation says that in 5,000 human, you will get 1 gram of gold. The 1 gram of gold in 5,000 human beings. And you see, this is of course out of the percent this thing, the COVID infection, the COVID virus, 1 gram of virus is sufficient to destroy, or 1 gram of gram of virus is sufficient to spread the disease all over the world. This was a recent information what we received. Okay, in 1981, this the studies on Swarna Prashana. This study is only Madhuvrata Prashana, not Swarna. 1981 is started in Jamnagar. That I think that is the first study of Madhuvrata in equal proportion in a newborn they have administered. And what they have observed is that in those days, of course, immunoglobulin assay and other things were not there. Only protein albumin globulin assay was done and globulin level was raised. That means indirectly it says that yes, it has something to do something with the globulin protein component, which has a relation with the body immunity. In 2011, a study was conducted at Jamnagar again, Madhuvrata Swarnavacha Madhuvrata Prashana. Here again, we found a very encouraging response. 2012, of course, further one more study was conducted where Swarna Bhasma and Madhuvrata was administered once in a month in Pushya Nakshatra for 6 months. And the results are encouraging, statistically significant with mean IQ and improvement in quality of life. 2012, of course, Swarna Bindu Prashana, this is a study from, I think, from Belgaum, 2012, where toxicity study was done and there was no toxicity. Here again, I want to share one information. Of course, it's a published information from CCRAS, Central Council for Research in Ayurveda Sciences. Swarna Bhasma toxicity study was done, and Swarna Bhasma toxicity study, the outcome was it is non-toxic in prescribed dose. Of course, anything given in excess, even if it is amrita, if it is given in excess, it can become poison. But if it's given in proper dose and proper media, it is safe. In 2013, we had a study on Swarna Prashana with Swarna Bhasma and Swarna Lavana. This was an experimental study. There is a method of preparing Swarna Lavana. You can talk to your Sashastra teachers who can explain you better about how to prepare and other things. Swarna Bhasma and Swarna Lavana studies were done. And in this Swarna Bhasma, it produced a good humoral immune response in experimental animals. There was non-significant effect on cell-mediated immunity. SBP, that is Swarna Bhasma, again, it was found non-toxic and safe. Then they have some stimulatory action on the immune system. This is a stability study we conducted on Swarna Prashana, where we prepared the Swarna Prashana yogas and kept in the refrigerator, kept outside in a clean container in a clean atmosphere. And it was studied after 3 months and 6 months. It's a published one. What we found is Swarna Prashana prepared during the high humid weather, that is rainy season, has got a shorter shelf life when it's kept outside. If you're keeping in the fridge, of course, shelf life improves. Swarna Prashana combination mixture prepared in the summer months, where when humidity is less and the dry weather, the shelf life is more. Those by preserving in refrigeration, you can increase the stability. These are the different studies, critical appraisal on Swarna Prashana in children. If you go to the Ayu journal, you will get at least 4 or 5 published articles. International Journal of Ayurveda Pharmacochemistry, Scientific View Towards Swarna Prashana in Alternative Medicine. This is, of course, compilation. This is again Practice and Prospectus compilation. The photograph which you are seeing is Swarna Prashana being practiced by Vidya Bharati and what you call Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad. They are also practicing Swarna Prashana in their schools. More than 10,000 children, they are administered with Swarna Prashana on specific days, that's the Pushya Nakshatra days. This is another publication on human biology. See, important publication which has to be highlighted, I'll stop and tell you. Again, this is a review actually, rationality of Swarna Prashana in pediatric practice. If you go to this article, you will find at least review of different publications as well as classical references and what is the rationality. The study concludes that yes, Swarna Prashana has something to do with immune system or immunity of the children. These are different studies conducted on Unani preparation, Swarnabhasma, Unani, Kushta, Tilakalan. Of course, this study is from a Unani institute at New Delhi, and the again outcome is same. Two gold preparations, Ayurvedic and Unani, claimed to possess general tonic, hepatotonic, nervine tonic, cardiostimulant, aphrodisiac, that is Vajikara, detoxificant, anti-infective, and anti-aging properties. Similar studies are there. You can come across with many such publications. This is again with Bateja and all. They have also conducted buccal and sublingual absorption of Swarna Prashana drug in the drug delivery. Gold bulletin, this is of course the Association of Gold Merchants. They have got a bulletin called as Gold Bulletin, and there in gold pharmaceutics studies were conducted, sponsored by them. They are also supporting the Rasayana effect of Swarna. Blood compatibility studies were conducted. Again, these studies are also supporting the Rasayana effect or beneficial effect, health benefits of Swarna administration. Compatibility studies publications are there. Gold as immunostimulant, you get studies on this. Gold in the management of rheumatic diseases. Of course, Swarna Yukta yogas are there in the market, you know very well about these things. Some of them are really having gold and some of them are just for the market purpose. Nanoparticle studies are there. Anti-cancer agent studies have been conducted. Gold as analgesic, gold preparations in analgesic Unani tibia formulation. There are published works. Toxicological assessment of elemental gold. There are studies on this. Neurological conditions and glandular diseases, the lymph gland related disorders. Yes, there are studies published. Colloidal gold as nervine tonic. Yes, this is how we understand use of Swarna based rasayanas in Vata Vyadhi. In bronchial asthma also gold can be used. There are certain preparations in Ayurveda again containing heavy metals and gold in respiratory diseases or pranavasrotos diseases. Human placenta is said to be having traces of gold, endometrium, decidua, traces of gold, semen containing gold. These are all published articles. And recently, we might have come across with a lot of hue and cry in the news also that a particular variety of cow urine also containing gold. Okay, these are all various studies conducted on gold and compatibility of gold. Need or therapeutic efficacy of gold on human system. All these are different studies. I'm not going to the details of the studies. This is another study, the structural studies, the structure of gold particles were studied and a properly arranged structural structure can be seen with electron microscopic studies. So Ayurveda classics also say that Suvarna is one of the best for Vishahara, Vishachikitsa also. And in the Samskaras, if you remember, Raksha Nimittam, Bhushana Nimittam cha, the Raksha Nimitta concept of Karna Vedhana probably is going in favor of these things. Okay. Importance of honey, which is an adjuvant to the Swarna Prashana. You know, honey itself is an immunomodulator. Second thing is Ghrita. Honey, of course, how honey acts, it reduces oxidative stress, it has antibacterial properties, it has antigenic material in it, it stimulates the immune response. This is the thing. Ghrita again is cow ghee, or to be more specific, the native Indian cow ghee is said to be very good rasayana in nature, and it helps in absorption right at the lingual lipase level or the tongue level itself. So, mixture of honey, ghee and Swarna, this is said to be the ideal one to improve the immune status. Now going ahead with certain plants which are having potent rasayana property which can be used in children also are, one is Pipali, you know very well about Pipali. In any respiratory complaints, Pipali is one of the drugs which are preferred, and Pipali has got a very potent immunomodulatory action. Katuki is having again a very good immunomodulatory action. Diseases or conditions related to the liver, digestive system, pitta, you can use Katuki also. Yashti Madhu is very good. It is Swarya, it is Varnya, it is Kantya, it is Kesha. All these rasayana properties. Along with that, it has immune system stimulating property too. And presently, the COVID-19 studies, clinical studies, Yashti Madhu is one of the drugs selected by Government of India, Ministry of Ayush for clinical assessment. Shatavari is also a very good rasayana, but as far as Shatavari is considered, in early childhood period, particularly in females, Shatavari may be used with bit caution because it has got estrogenic activities. We have to be bit careful in that. Ashwagandha is a rasayana, well-known rasayana. This is a drug selected for COVID-19 anti corona activity clinical research. When you are using ashwagandha in children, see this has got anabolic activity as well as androgenic stimulation activity. And when you are using in children, little bit careful. You have to keep a watch on their secondary sexual characteristics. Shatavari, ashwagandha, then you have got musali. This type of drugs, bit you should use with bit caution. Guruji, of course, name itself says it is Amrita, and all of us, of course, here in Delhi, we are conducting a project on the Delhi police, 80,000 Delhi police who are the frontline workers in COVID infection and corona infection and all. And to prevent and to boost their immunity, we are giving Guruji Khanavati or in the name of Samshamani Vati. It is a very good rasayana. It can be used right from birth to any age. Our only thing is those you have to modify. We have got another drug, Sariva. It's also good, but it's not popularly used in pediatric age group. It is a Pitta Shamana drug, Pitta Shamana in nature. In summer season, of course, we are using this Sariva in different forms. We have got Haritaki. Haritaki is also to be very good rasayana, but there is some contraindication, not contraindication, but there are some cautionary marks. Haritaki should not be used because it causes impotency and other things are there. It should be used with the caution. We have got Bakuchi, it is Ushna Dikshna, and it should be used in with very safely. How to use this? You have got Amalaki, of course, the Rasayana Raja, the best Rasayana available. Vacha, another major Rasayana which we can use in children. Shankhapushpi is another one. And this is the list of other Rasayana drugs. The list goes very big because I have listed only 40 here. Because I have around 100 and plus drug in this list. In addition to this, there is some myth with regards to Sarna Prashana, Pushya Nakshatra myth. There is nothing, no classical reference for this. Of course, you can start your Sarna Prashana or any Rasayana Prayoga during the Pushya Nakshatra. Start with that day and then continue it. This Rasayana cannot work in a day or two. If you are giving Rasayana, it should be given for a longer time. And Rasayana is best working where there is no ama. So what you have to do is there should be a good Agni Dipti, there should not be any ama condition. The formulation which you are using, the children should accept it easily, quantity should be minimum, and then it should be given for a longer time. So it is better to invest on Sarna Prashana, which is cheaper than the vaccine fund. If you're a good ardent reader, you can read the vaccine fund. You just prefer, you'll come to know how many crores and crores of rupees are spent on vaccine. If you spend it on Sarna Prashana, I think we can do much better than that. This day may come. Okay. Now, another important thing in immunity is ahara, diet. Diet component is very important, and Ayurveda has identified this diet component very promptly and properly. This is the classification of age according to the modern books, pediatric books, newborn, neonate, infant, toddler, and all. It is based on the years. Whereas Ayurveda classification of childhood period, if you remember or you recollect, it is like this. It is based upon the diet. Kshirada, Kshiranada, and Annada. This is the classification which our acharyas have followed. Those who have got exposure to Ayurveda Kaumarmatya literature, books like Arogya Raksha Kalpadruma, it has a different approach because it is a 20th century book. But the classical books, they classify like this. Kshirada, Kshiranada, and Annada, based upon the diet. Nutrition is very important, you know very well why it is important. It has got much importance in every aspect of life, healing as well as prevention. These are the different shlokas which highlights the importance of ahara. Atasya sarvotanam ahara sthiti karanam natvad ahara tenyat praninam pranadharanam. If you want to live, you have to have ahara. Nacha ahara samam kinchit bheshajya upalabhyate. This is another Mahavidyalaya Mahara. They have highlighted the importance of diet, importance of proper diet in health and disease. Mitabhuk, and Kshutabhuk. This is another thing which is mentioned in Ayurveda classics that you have to eat whenever you feel hungry in a appropriate quantity, and Hita, which is acceptable to you. Good eating practice. This is what I always say: Alpashana, Dhyashana, Vishamashana, Viruddhashana. These are not good eating practices. Samashana should be the practice. Following Hitamita and Shutabu, this will definitely improve the immunity. That is very good, important for us. In Kshiranada, Matureva Bivesanyam. After that, you have to go for the top feeding. The first choice is goat's milk, then cow's milk, and then any other milk, processed one. So this is the choice. If you follow these Ayurveda guidelines properly, you can have a good immune system. And when teething starts, how to withdraw from breast milk and how to introduce the child to other items that I also mentioned in our classes. This is the beauty of Ayurveda text. This is complete in nature. They are not left something in between and then left to your. No, they have given specific guidelines. Till teething starts, the child should be on breast milk. Once teething starts, you have to start semi-solids and then you have to go for the solids gradually. Slow introduction to be done, not all of us done. Small quantity first and then go on increasing and then go on adding the newer things. Along with that, you have to start with the fruits first and then you have to go for other things. These are all explained in our texts. Gradual introduction of solids. This is the line. Okay, now leading your attention to the wrong practices. These are all published media, what we are getting. Whatever in the world we are getting today is most of them are adulterated. The vegetables, the fruits, the items, everything is adulterated. These are all just to highlight your attention onto this, how important the diet factor is. You see, 45% of the Mumbai milk is likely to be adulterated. This is the vegetable pointed gourd or patola we get in the market. If you wash the patola in the clean water, you get a green water. That is colored one. This is one violation chart we are getting world over. India has got 11.1% violation in the world. That is the worst among the all. This again highlights the same thing, statistics. This again statistics, which vegetable, what are the things added, what type of poisons they are adding with the edibles. It is highlighted here. This is nothing but food fraud. Fraud in food is very, very rampant all over the world. Not only in India, of course, it is there all places, even including baby food. Baby foods are essential. Yes, I agree. Here is a study. See, infant foods 2015 study says it is very important, but highlighting them and marketing them along with the adulterants that makes baby food dangerous. How to promote the things? How to promote immunity without medicines? Follow the Dinacharya, Rutucharya and Swasthavrata guidelines. This can be practiced right from the childhood period. May not be a child of 1 month, 2 months, but a child who can start walking, a child who can eat by himself. Then from there you can start these practices. Certain things in the Dinacharya, like getting up in the morning. Getting up in the morning, let it be at 8 o'clock, no issue in the child, but toilet practice, brushing, oral hygiene, body hygiene, exercise or activities, food, this can be regulated. If these are regulated right from the childhood period, following the Ayurveda principles, that is good for improving or maintaining general health. One of the importance is body massage. Why oil massage is to be done? Rutucharya, Adana Visarga Kala we have got based upon the doshas, and every family has got different practices. According to the Rutus, we have dietary practice too. And if you follow that, yes, we can maintain a good health. But don't forget about the tonics to the mind. That is Achar Rasayana. This again can be practiced right from childhood period. Children to be practiced or children to be introduced with all these things, then they can become a good individual. See, there is a study, the 1 or 2 studies I'm highlighting, the importance of Sadhurata. There was a study in Japan where he took water crystals, he made water into crystal, converted water into crystal form, and put one container in one room and another container in another room. The one room is uttered bad words, rock music and all those nonsense things, and the other room he gave good treatment to the water with prayers and music, classical music and all. You can see the changes taking place in the crystal. If a non-living water crystal changes, then what about human beings? Similar is the case with a study, another Dr. Emoto, again it is a Japanese study, where he took rice in one bottle, in 2 bottles kept in 2 different places, and one ushered with good things, and another is showered with bad things, and then he did studies after 30 days. You can see the changes. These are all published things available in the media. So Sadhurta plays a very important role. And Sadhurta always can be inculcated, it can be practiced, given to the children right from very beginning. So these are the three things which are very good rasayana for children. Nityam Kshira Krita. So Kshira and Krita of good source, if the child is using daily. Honey is also a very good thing. Palatability is very good. Acceptability is also very good. Hardly in 100 you can find 1 or 2 persons who are not willing to take honey, but others, rest all will accept this. And this, if it is practiced in the day-to-day life of a child, definitely child will have a better immune system. Now, there are a lot of practices in the society. There are some practices which are good practice, which are some practices which are harmful practices, and which practices are harmless but useless. We don't know whether it's useful or not, but that's why I put as asterisks there. So all those good practices to be encouraged, all those bad practices to be curtailed, discontinued, and if it is harmless, it can be ignored, or you can just keep mum, because parents will have some faith on it, and that will give a positive thing. And child also, of course, parents are doing something and it is good, like wearing a bangle, specific taita or sort of things, tying, putting some stones in the body, all those things. It can be encouraged. It need not be discouraged rather. There's a list of things which encourage, discourage. Emotional support you have to encourage. Use of traditional feedings like paladai, cup, spoon feeding and all. It's a very good practice. Bottle feeding is not good. Use of simple homemade remedies is always good. Always exposing the child to antibiotics or strong chemical medicines, not good. Use of cradle is very good. Whereas keeping the child on an open surface is not good. Early physical stimulation of activities is very good, and making the child dependent and taking the child always on your hand, shoulders, it's not good. So that list of practices are encouraged here, and this again gives a psychological stimulation to the child, and psychologically happiness or psychological well-being supports the immune system. Psycho, neuroendocrine axis. This is a very important thing. Even if you eat a very good diet, but if you are in a very stressful atmosphere, your immune system may go wrong. Harmless practices like nazar utana, drishti nikalna, drishti tegiyodu. This is what is practiced in almost all places in different ways. It is there. There is no harm in that. But in the name of that, if you are taking something strong like vacha or wet items, strong items tying to the body, or ugly karma to the body, this type of things, no, that is not good. Using of feeding bottle, formula feeds, baby soap, diapers, use of unscientific, irregular use of diapers, synthetic fiber clothes, nuclear family, it's father, mother, child only, joint family approach. It's good, but nuclear is not good. Early schooling, send the child to school at the age of 2 years itself. No, not good. Such things are to be discouraged. There's one more thing called as vulnerable child syndrome, which is very, very common nowadays. It is characterized by excessive parental concern about the health and development of their child. Usually occurs after a medical illness. Child is supposed, of course, seasonal, maybe seasonal illness. The parents are understandably upset or worried about the child's health. Google knowledge bank is there. That also leads to this unnecessary worry and other things. And this makes the child vulnerable. Sleep problems will be there, overprotectiveness, overindulgence, over eating, all those things. At home, at school, everywhere. These things make the child more vulnerable to the disease conditions. This vulnerability develops because of the different factors. Vulnerability means poor immune status. This should be avoided. You must make child independent. You must make child knowledgeable. Then only it is possible. So what is the message is? Harmful practices to be stopped, local health practices to be promoted, and unknown things, non-harmful, you can support them for psychological benefits. These are some of the common drugs photographs I have kept here. And diet plays a very vital role in maintaining immunity or immune status. And we have to keep a close watch on the dietary aspect. Good food good rest, good sleep. These are the things supporting immunity. With these words, I am just closing my presentation.